The final program in this chapter is going to incorporate a number of things that we have worked on, different types of user input, random number generation, decision structures. So basically what's going to be happening is that it's going to tell you your future. When we run this, you'll see that the program says, I'm a fortune teller, look into my crystal screen and enter 3 careers you would like to have, for example, chef, astronaut and CIA agent. And then I will predict what you will be. So I'm just going to take those inputs and CIA agent, and it will tell me, sorry, you will not be any of these. Okay. And over here, when I run it again, chef, astronaut, and CIA agent. Again, none of these. Let's see if we ever get a different answer. Chef, astronaut, and CIA agent. And now I will be a CIA agent. Okay, and we're just going to assume that we can also be chefs or astronauts, not only, hey, something else or the CIA agent. So let's look at this program and answer a couple of questions related to how it works. Okay, so we know that we need over here the standard library for random numbers. And over here, what does this line do? Okay, so what this line does is it takes the current time, time 0, and assigns it to a number that we're going to be using later on. Second question, what exactly is time 0? Is that January 1, 1970, or is it the current time? And of course it's the current time. If it was always January 1, 1970, the random numbers would always be the same. Okay, next question. This srand function, what does srand stand for? And of course it stands for seeding the random function, so it seeds it with a number over here. Okay, let's look at these inputs over here, and you see that it does not use the cin, it uses the get line. Why would it be using the get line as opposed to the cin? And of course the answer is that if you used the cin and not the get line, you would not be able to enter something like CIA agent, because that has a space between CIA and agent. So that's why we'd be using the get line as opposed to the cin. Let's look at this line of code over here. And the question is, this rand over here, how many different numbers approximately can it generate? How many different numbers? And of course the answer is about 32,000. Now the next question is, how many different numbers are we going to generate with rand and then %4? And the answer, of course, is 4 different numbers. And the next question is, what are those numbers? And the answer, of course, is 0, 1, 2, and 3. Because if something is divisible by 4, then the remainder is going to be 0. And when it's almost a multiple of 4, but just before it, then the remainder would be 3. So the next question is, why do we add 1 to this result? And the answer, of course, is we want to have answers in the range of 1 to 4. So since we get 0 through 3 over here, we just have to add 1 to it to get our 1 through 4. Next question. Why do we need 2 equal signs instead of 1? And of course, the answer is, if we want to compare these two and we use only 1 equal sign, we would just put the number 1 in this random number. And it would always give a true, and you would always have this carrier over here. Now, since we generate numbers from 1 to 4, are we ever going to have an else with a value of 5 for a random number? And of course the answer is no. We only get 1 through 4. We cover 1 over here, 2 over here, 3 over here, and 4 over here.